Hey, everybody, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. I, as always, am your humble host, Van Ebert, and I will be your tour guide, your warped and twisted and bizarre tour guide in this episode where we do a deep dive, we do an autopsy on the Mel Gibson Christmas movie that's not Lethal Weapon, it is Fatman. And there's no doubt that this movie is a Christmas movie, okay? No die-hard debate, nothing like that here with Mel Gibson in Fatman. But this movie was just too good, too sweet, too choice not to do a Movies Merica spoiler warning show on right there. But I will not be flying solo, okay? I will have I will have a partner in the Santa sleigh tonight as we go through Fatman, and I will intro you to him before or after this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everybody. Yes, it's Thirsty Thursday here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And first off, I want to welcome my movie maniacs. Yes, and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. You know who you are out there, right? And I teased it. Okay, and if I'm going to tease something, I'm going to deliver, all right? And I'm not going to be that guy. And so, again, we have a special guest tonight to help me go through Fatman and do the deep dive. And it's a guy that I'm sure you guys all know. I'm going to bring him up, and he'll be like, oh, yes, all right, that's awesome. That's fantastic right there. And you know what? If I build him up anymore, I'm going to embarrass myself. So without further ado, Siaka, welcome.
What's up? What's up? How you doing, Van? It's so awesome to be here.
Oh, great. Yeah, awesome to have you here. Thank you for doing us the honor of being here on the show right here, especially for a movie like Fatman. And, you are a gentleman from the Hollywood scene. And so, like, who better? I mean, I could have got Warren Buffett on here to go over Fatman. I could have got Mark Zuckerberg, but they don't know anything about Hollywood.
You might as well get me. You know what I mean? Like that passes all those billionaires. Get a regular thousandaire over here.
Thousandaire right there. Exactly right. Yeah, let's do it right here.
Right.
And so real quick, just to remind everybody that's watching, you don't have to just watch. Okay, it's not just gonna be me and Siaka up here going just talking. Right. Feel free to get in the live chat and let us know what you think of Fatman. Or if you haven't seen it and you're hearing what we're saying and you're like, man, I'm going to watch a movie right now. Like, let me know that as well. But we're going to get into that. And so I think that Siaka, and let me know what you think about this, but I think like the thing that kind of made me amazed about this movie or was surreal to me is that in Fatman, it portrays a world where just everybody in the world just knows Santa Claus is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like how everybody knows like Elon Musk is somebody, right? He's a real thing, right? Exactly. But in this world, it's like it's Santa Claus is a real thing.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't know that he lives like on this humble farm, farmstead, with this little workshop, this building that's not very impressive. I mean, they probably don't know that. But there's no like the Santa Claus is out there. I just thought that was so weird.
That was actually kind of like, did you ever watch Futurama? Were you into Futurama at all?
I saw a couple episodes, so I wasn't into it. But
Futurama did something like that where but it was a robot Santa Claus, and everyone, it was a lot different where people were afraid of the Santa. Like you had to get inside before it got dark because he was going to come and take you out. So like it became like an ongoing thing where they were fighting. And actually, American Dad did that same thing where they had like a crazy Santa. Everyone knew it was real. Everyone, like the family, had like a beef with him too. So they like to make Santa kind of crazy. But I like this one. This one's a lot better because it's a sweet. I mean, it's action packed and kind of gritty, but it's Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is good, man. He's really good. And he brings a lot of heart to this character, even though he's supposed to be kind of grizzled and tired. And he's actually playing a version, I think, of Danny Glover's character from the Lethal Weapon movie. Right. He moves like he's getting a little too old for this.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
just waiting for him to get in a sleigh and he has some suicidal partner who pops in the sleigh like, I'm 40 years old. I'm this close to retirement. I'm gonna die. I'm a dead man. What are you talking to me for? I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. Don't talk. What are you talking to me for? I'm a dead man.
I love it. I love it.
It's like, have you ever met anybody you haven't killed? Well, I haven't killed you yet.
Yeah. Oh, what classic movie. We could do that one next time.
Oh, yeah.
We actually do I do a podcast. You guys can check it out on Instagram and here, or not Instagram, sorry, on YouTube and here on Rumble. It's called the New Hollywood Podcast. Is with our Hollywood for Freedom group. And we do a segment where we do a movie a blast from the past. And we're just picking movies pre-2000 and all those movies, Lethal Weapon, National Lampoon. So we like to talk about like back when storytelling was there to be entertainment, not to be agenda driven.
Yeah. That's go check that out. Definitely. I mean, because I had a chance to briefly see he's involved with that. That sounds interesting. Because I heard the description. It's and maybe it's I'm butchering the description, but the description was kind of like it's trying to provide a home or a place for content creators that don't want to have to worry about woke and all that stuff, DEI and all that stuff. Can create content, that kind of thing. I'm sure you could describe it much better.
I mean, you did a pretty good job there, man. We actually let me add on to that because it came up because of the COVID restrictions. And Tatum Shank, one of the main hosts of the show, he actually was supposed to be the main headmaster on the new Bel Air show. Do you remember that new show Bel Air that they made? It was going to be a serious version of the Fresh Prince.
Oh, right. Yep.
He was the headmaster of the school.
Okay.
And when production called him up and was talking about, oh, hey, you got this, we got you that, we got you, your fitting for your clothes and rehearsals. Then they're like, oh, last thing we need is your COVID vax card. And he's like, oh, I have a religious exemption. They're like, okay, we'll call you back. They never called
him back.
This is after a year of actors not working and family, and this was a great opportunity. And so when they cut into him like that, he got really upset and shared a story with some friends, myself, some other friends, and we were like, you know what, let's just start doing our own thing. So eventually we got to a point where we're now a 501c3.
Good.
Or it's 501c4 actually, because we can talk about politics. And what we saw was a gap in the industry where people like Daily Wire had moved from Hollywood to Tennessee, PragerU doing their thing. You had a lot of these conservative, or even like the Blaze network. They have a lot of these conservative networks, but they don't have that Hollywood talent at the same level, right? And so what we found, especially from 2020 to 2021, how many people were, whether they're Christian, or they're free thinking, just America minded, that we have the talent level. But now let's start bridging the gap. So we have people on our database, and any actor, writer, director, camera, music, musician, makeup, wardrobe, anything like that. You can go to Hollywood for Freedom, the number 4 freedom.com. You join the database, and when projects come up, and some of the organizations we're working with, we're actually featured and on the credits of Vindicating Trump just recently. Like, we were able to do that because I was cast in that, so they did us a favor and helped us out there. But when organizations or individuals, like producer, let's say you want to produce a movie, brother, and you want to go get some solid talent instead of, I just shot something in Kentucky, and the guy was like, instead of getting just Kentucky locals who may not know at all how to act or how to be on the set, now they can go to Hollywood for Freedom. We can we can post to our database of I think we're about over 800 now. We can post to our database, and people can then send directly. Now you're going to be getting that Hollywood level without all the Hollywood woke. So that's what we really wanted to
do. So is it kind of like a LinkedIn kind of for talent that wants to be involved with those kind of projects without the Hollywood scrutinization and all that?
Well, and it's front and behind camera. So we have everything. We basically can staff an entire pilot or movie if somebody wants through our database.
Okay.
At all levels. So we wanted to do our part to help with this parallel economy. And again, like I said, I think it's because the gap and divide have been so wide. A lot of people don't understand that in Hollywood, they're not all just crazy loony lefties, just talking about chopping up kids. Like there are conservatives there. I mean, there are groups like Friends of Abe's that existed, started by Gary Sinise.
Oh, sure.
Jon Voight's in there, but now only people know like a lot of the older conservative actors.
Right.
No, there's so many more. But now we can join them over to your Babylon Bee, to your Daily Wire, to your Blaze, so that we show, hey, you don't have to be beholden just to the Hollywood system. There is it, and it's growing. It's going to take a little bit of time because Hollywood has a head start. But I think with the advent of things like this, we'll definitely be able to increase that number sooner rather than later. You bet.
Now, did Babylon Bee find you through that for your fantastic role in January 6th, the most deadliest day?
Actually, no. They it was very interesting. And this is what I used to say this in 2020 and 2021. I do speeches around town and tell people, if you're sick of seeing what's happening, you run for local office. Sure. And in 2022, I actually ran for state assembly in California for District 43. And when I was doing fundraisers, I wanted to do them differently. I didn't want to just do a sit down dinner and everyone just, all the gray hairs show up and it's like, you just tell them like, you trust me, I'll get you the money, or I'll get you, I'll get you things changed. No, I wanted to bring something different to the table. So what I ended up doing was I did a lot of stand-up comedy shows. Oh. So we had joined with this group called Make America Laugh Again. My good friend Rachel Gunther, she's awesome, my fairy godmother. So she came and we were doing had comedians come through. We had Adam Yenser. Adam Yenser was a writer on the Babylon Bee and former Ellen writer for 11 years. So he has that comic genius. So we had them come out, a couple comedians, including Adam. Adam brought out a couple people from the Bee. And so when we got done with that, the Bee, a couple like people from the Bee were like, hey, we like kind of how your speech in the beginning. Do you want to come and do our podcast? So I was like, yeah, I'll do your podcast. So I came for the podcast first. And then we started talking about I'm like, yeah, I act. I'd love to do some sketches. Because at this point I was just doing my own sketch comedy group called What the Fact, which is right here on Rumble. You guys can go back and watch the 2 years we did there.
Check it out, y'all.
Yeah, I personally think it's hilarious, but that's me.
You're kind of biased.
Yeah, I'm a little biased. I think all of our comedy was great.
I think I'm hilarious.
Yeah. If you don't, you're crazy.
Exactly.
So yeah, we had that's all I was doing, because at this point I was very vocal, and it's been labeled, Trump supporter, anti-vax, whatever they want to call it. So I had, lost my agent and my agent and manager dropped me. I didn't lose them; they left. Right. And so I was just like, I didn't have the same opportunity, because I was working consistently as an actor since 2017. Like that was just now my job. There was no side hustle. There was no bartending job or extra. Right. It was like I was living my dream. And after that happened, I was hustling around. But then we're making our own with What the Fact, because we just were actors that needed to perform and then at the same time ridicule and get do satirical points on what was going on. And so when I started working with the Bee, they actually really helped big time, because that California Moved to Texas sketch that we did was technically the third sketch we did, but only the second one that came out with me in it, because one of them they thought they were crossing streams with another comedian. Mm-hmm. And so they took it down, and then they came up with this, and then Joe Rogan retweeted it, and then it just boom, it just went nuts. And it was like it financially it helped out. It wasn't the same, of course, as being in a Hollywood movie or TV show, but it was like helping to keep the lights on. And so right. I have a very very, very warm spot in my heart for the Babylon Bee and what they're doing. I hope they expand out more. I hope they keep doing more. I hope they do more long form. But for those who do like California Moved to Texas, it's just a rumor right now. So it's rumor, and you heard it here first. There may be a season 2. So we don't. So we'll see.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hold your excitement. Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's don't get your hopes up. But if it does happen, fantastic. And
yes,
you definitely have some fans in here. We got Lindy Rig 87 greeting with Siaka.
What's up, Lindy? There you go. And Beyond.
Beyond formal right there with a hey right there. Yep, absolutely. And oh hey Siaka. So yeah, I don't know if Lindy Rigg was like yelling it like Mel Gibson in Braveheart style, like freedom. And he's like Siaka.
Either way, it's coming from the depth of your soul. So I really enjoy that. That means it's a good thing. It's a good thing. What is Beyond saying over there with the otter? What is that? Is that a thing that?
So basically, what it is so over on the Rumble live chat, it's got these otter emoticons, but in Rumble, in the comments in the Rumble, it can't show the image, so it just puts plus otter in there over and over again. So it's maybe someday Rumble or StreamYard will get its act together and we'll be able to put icons up here and emojis and that kind of thing. So, but apparently that's too advanced for them there.
Yeah, already going live is enough for them. Trying to keep our lips synced up to the live. So that's that's a little inside baseball, guys.
Beyond formal, he yelled it like "Con."
That's the best. Con.
I love it.
JJ was like, "I'm gonna have Spock do it. That will be so different."
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like I'll be so edgy and profound because I'll have Spock doing it instead of
Spock do it.
Yeah, exactly. So come on, and with plenty of lens flare in there as well. So I got the lens flare.
He uses lens flares like those old school cliche Christian movies uses lens flare. All the filter, you're just like, I can't see anything. It's all my eyes.
Old Liz Taylor movies. They used to look like you're watching it like through a plastic bag, because she had wrinkles and all that stuff. So yeah,
with a spotlight hitting you from behind it, you're like, come on, take it easy. Come on,
exactly right there. Yeah, but I mean, it's too bad that because you were kind of touching on it earlier, where you're talking about like, you were working in Hollywood regularly. That was your Dolly Parton 9 to 5.
9 to 5, man.
You're like doing it, and then COVID hits, and then you have to take a stand. And then, pretty soon you've got the scarlet letter of being a Trump supporter on there. And it's too bad that a country like America came down to that, where it came down to, are you in the cult or are you not in the cult? It's like the movie Idiocracy, like, why you got no tattoo? It's like, why you got no COVID-19 vaccine? Why you got no tattoo? It's like, you're not part of the cult. You're not allowed to work here. And it is kind of like the Hollywood blacklist back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever that was.
It was the what was it, the blacklist that was like the red list because they thought everyone was communist. Right. And here's a spoiler alert. They are. I think I'm like that's McCarthy had it right.
Right.
Like, you look back at it now and you see that they were like Hollywood's been the mouthpiece of this agenda that's slowly been squeezing us down over the last, 50, 60 years. And so, when I decided to because I was kind of hiding in plain sight early on in 2020, seeing all the craziness, but it was the summer of love. And my mom, who's visiting me now from Chicago area, she was living in the South Side, and these people were, destroying cities, shooting up men, women, children. A 6-month-old was shot around the corner from her house, and my mom's in her 70s. So, like, she's someone who is ripe for to be victimized. And at the same time, these people were being arrested and everything. You had a lot of Hollywood elites joining together and starting a bailout fund.
Oh yeah,
they were bailing people out across the country.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm hiding what I believe in to be around these people, who are okay with kids being murdered, and putting a risk, in my mom's life. I'm like, nah, man. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I just knew I was done. I was done trying to hide for them. I wasn't like, I'm done acting. I was just like, I'm done hiding. I gotta, you see something, say some type of thing. And man, it's like, it wasn't even all the wokeness they were doing. It was the fact that they went out and they paid to get these criminals back out in neighborhoods that didn't affect them, but and a lot of people were being harmed. It just
You're talking about J.J. Abrams earlier, and he even tweeted out like, what was it to someone like, it's the end, or we've had too much white comfort or something like that. Like during
From
like
behind,
that,
was that from behind his gated community?
Pretty much, exactly.
Like,
yeah, well, he had his armed guards, outside his whatnot, and I'm like,
it's so crazy.
Hey, dude, the white comfort is what allows people to see your shitty movies. All right, so so you better slow your roll, pal. All right, so there you go, because people don't want to see movies when they're running for their lives.
No, exactly.
So a bunch of white people are like, oh my god, we got to run for our lives. Well, you don't really have time to go watch Star Trek. Star
Trek 17 or whatever.
Right.
Like. Yeah, it's with people like Abrams, people like all these. It's so funny and living out there, and the level of disconnect, my friend. Like it's kind of shocking after a while because I don't know. My nature is to go around and I talk to a lot of different people a lot of times, right? Like I'm always like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And I kind of like to know what's going on with people. And as actors, I believe that is a strength because we have to bring in different experiences and not all the time you're going to be able to go and ride along with a police officer for 6 months to see what it's like to be a cop. But if you just have conversations like a normal person, you can kind of see the things that you hear on the TV radio isn't always the truth. And these people just kind of refused to hear anything else. And as we see now, the COVID conspiracy theorists like myself were correct. You see like all the conspiracy theories about I think the election we're going to see that were correct. We see Joe and all this stuff is correct. So if they just took time to get out of their bubble, they wouldn't be, number one, as angry, and number two, able to not as hateful towards individuals like us.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know if you ever listen to Jesse Kelly, but Jesse Kelly has a couple of good points about Hollywood celebrities and politicians. And one of the things he says is they see themselves as kings and queens.
Yeah.
Another thing is they have no connection to the real world. And third, they have no love of this country whatsoever. But I think it's the first two that really play into what you're talking about, where they see themselves as kings and queens, and really probably the one that affects the most is no connection to the real world, like you were talking about. Like, where did JJ send that from his mansion? Was gated community. So
I mean, you remember when Gal Gadot was doing the Imagine, and what's funny about that too, because one thing I noticed that has come up so much more in these last 3 years is just a revival, a Christian revival. People getting back to Jesus, which I think is very important, especially for the foundation of our country. And that song, I remember growing up, and that song was a big song everyone would hold on to for like something sweet and beautiful, but to have those celebrities try to sing it, and it fits so well with like kind of the godlessness that is in Hollywood, because they're like, imagine there's no heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You can if you try. And it's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
It's like they're leading in with, imagine there is no God, let's work that way. And it's like, no. If we work that way as no God, then we start to think that we're God. And once that happens, that's where more people have been killed in human history by people who thought they were gods than any religious war. So it's we gotta. I thought it was apropos, and they were all singing from their little mansions and their little big mansions and their gated community, talking about, hey, just hang in there, it's gonna be okay. It's like oh yeah. Are you still paying your staff to be there? Why it's okay for you? And Nancy Pelosi's showing everyone ice cream, her freezer full of ice cream.
Right, yeah, and her $7 million freezer, or whatever it was, and she's got the frou ice cream there. Just, no connection to the real world, no tact, nothing like that. So, like, know your audience, okay?
She made that statement like, "We feed the people." Do you remember when she said that? It's
I don't remember that. She said that. Okay.
Oh yeah, she goes, "We feed the people," and I'm like,
no, you don't.
Like, who do you think you are, man?
Yeah, exactly.
You steal from the people, and that's a whole nother. We can go into all that later. That's a whole nother.
Exactly. Yeah. We can go off. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they think they go to the grocery store and they're like, well, just they grow the food at the grocery store.
Actually, I used to think that when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, oh, it must be in the back. I mean, duh. Right. Like, that's where it is. So.
and then you grew up, and then I grew up an adult, and then
learn about commerce and all that good stuff. Yeah.
And a lot of these people, they just don't get that, right? They're still in that childlike existence there, because they're theater kids. Yeah, maybe they're theater kids. They went straight to film school or Juilliard, and then they went straight
It's
to
just
their
taken care of. Or
Oh, yeah.
or what happens, and I've seen this happen a lot, and because I play college football, and I see it happen a lot with individuals that become professional athletes. Like you get in college when you're a scholarship athlete, like you get a lot of things just handed to you, you know,
Sure.
and a lot, and I don't just mean you know, if good easier classes or first or shot at classes like women, drugs, alcohol. You think about the movie like The Program and all these different stuff, and those things, they happen in the different forms.
Oh, yeah.
So you get that, and then the next level isn't to go, you know, get a 9 to 5. If you make it to that next level, it's a millionaire. So you go from everything handed to you in college, and then next, you know, it's the same thing, but now more access and more money.
Right.
When was LeBron James ever going to truly not see his struggle that his mom may have went through the eyes of a child?
Right.
He's not seeing it through the eyes of an adult. He's seeing it through the eyes of a child who grew up then later and had a bunch of money. So he never had to. I had to be on welfare twice while I was chasing my dream. So I know what it's like to go, oh man. And I saw my decisions get in the way of my success.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a lot of times these individuals, they get in, once they get in the club, and a lot of times they get in young and they didn't have to go through the struggle at all.
Sure.
Right. And so they didn't really know what it was like.
Exactly. They've never had that period in time where they were humbled and that they see the other side of life right there. So they get that sense of that utmost entitlement where maybe when you know, early on in their life, they're like, hey, it's nice to get nice stuff, but if I don't get it, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But then fast forward 20 years, they're like, no, it's not if I get nice stuff, I better get nice stuff. People better give it to me when I command at the time I command it. So,
which is a connection to that. I think when we watched it, maybe 15, 20 years ago, when they started doing the trophies just for showing up, I really do believe it's been a long-term goal here and a long-term plan, because now it's trickled down to those athletes. It went from those athletes who just expect it because their ability, and you know, some of it rightly so, but the expectation. So now, I know it's a big issue with the Gen Zers who just show up at work and expect a good, like a great paycheck that will just do everything differently and not having to earn their way up. Right. So they've been slowly chipping away at American greatness for a while. And it's because, like I said earlier, the communists have taken over a lot of areas, starting in the Black community, and then really expanded out with the Marxist liberals and that hatred for America.
Oh,
you know, they see it like it's really wild. I think this is the only neighborhood most people will ever live in. How can you hate on it so much that, you know, you want to drain it of any resources? You want to import more poor people. It's like,
right.
What place do you think they're going to take? They're going to take over the other poor people that were over here. Like, what are you doing? So
exactly. Everybody making those policies, they will not be affected by them whatsoever. So
they give themselves raises.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easy for them to act all charitable because, you know, all those people aren't going to be in their backyards.
And it's not their money.
Exactly.
It's easier to give away someone else's money, right? You're like, yeah, there you go. You need, how many billion do you need? You're like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, but eventually you run out of other people's money, as the saying goes, right? So,
exactly.
And everything goes.
And Trump's wins the election. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted to keep their power, I always said, like with COVID stuff, they didn't have to mandate it for people to go to work. They could have just left it alone. We were kind of, as a country, slowly walking off a short pier. You know, like they could have just left it alone. And people were like, well, you know, COVID was scary. Let's go. But they went hard in the paint.
Exactly. Well, speaking of Trump there, so you know, basically I do have some questions here I was going to run by here because it's like I was just dying to hear your answers on these and whatnot. And you know, just wanted to get these to you while I had you here. But so the Biden FBI here, you know, they purposely took steps to embarrass, or they tried to embarrass you, right? But you know, because they arrested you in a public place, right? At the airport.
Right.
And it had to be strategic because they probably knew that there was going to be a lot of people there with phones to record it and that kind of thing. Where, like you said, they could have just called you there.
Yep.
But do you find it, you know, then do you find it rich, and does it anger you that now the left and their propaganda puppets, you know, ABC, CBS, NBC, etc., are acting all uppity with their warnings that Trump and, you know, America First is going to use the DOJ to punish their political enemies?
I find it more hypocritical, but I don't I don't really focus on them in that way, because I do believe that the people that are being put in place and the truth that comes out, because it's not really about them. It's about the average person. It's about, people I went to high school with and grew up with who I thought knew me, that shut their back on me, or, turned their back on me with what happened because of January 6th. It's because, the industry that I was in, that I had friends there that turned their back on me, and many others. It's about that. It's about the truth coming out, to see how I believe, and this is my own personal belief based on things that I've seen, but I believe it was entrapment. I believe we were set up. I believe that, especially nonviolent people, I believe it was a political tool that was used to try to squeeze out the America First movement and scare everyone away from that. And the one thing that I have learned in this time, in this process, is that the crazier their efforts are to lie about something, the wilder their crimes are against the average person that they've done. Right. And now we're seeing that right now. And so for me, it's like, the media is going to do what they're going to do, because they're the ones that got, that got Joe Biden somewhat elected. They're the ones that have been screaming for these last 4 years. But with the people like yourself, myself, and so many others on X and Rumble and even YouTube, they have lost. And we're just slowly going to be watching them lose out, and because they chose the lie over what was true. And that stuff's biblical. There's like they chose what good does it do a man gaining the whole world but losing their soul. And people like Joe Scarborough, who was like, oh my God, I was like a Republican, and now he's in there being like, I'll vote for Kamala. It's like, that's not anywhere near Republican ideals, regardless of how bad you think Trump is. It's like, how can you support this other side that goes literally opposite everything that you say you believe in? And so many people sold themselves. Anna Navarro on The View itself. It's going to be, I think that the three things that are going to happen: the truth about J6, the Diddy list, and the Epstein list, I think will help break from the guy, because we're, as humans, we're built to worship. And for so long, and I was there when I didn't know Christ, that people start to worship celebrities and people. Sure. And I think a lot of those people will need to see their celebrities broken in that way, or the powerful people broken, in order to back away and start to look at everything else from a more of a 10,000 view glance, as opposed to no, I don't care what you say. Oprah's great. Forget it. She had Kamala on, so she's great. And you're like, wait a second. Yeah. Kamala paid her for that interview, which was already a conflict of interest. And you got Oprah's always open these schools with a bunch of sex allegations against young girls. Like, there's an issue there. Let's talk about it. And it's like, I think those three things coming out will help our country heal, because it's not going to be healing in the sense of Republicans and Democrats be friends in the hill or on the hill. No, it's about our neighbors again. It's about our friends again, to go, oh, wow, the truth about COVID, just to go, oh, wow, they lied to me so much that I chose them over personal relationships. I need to start taking a inventory of what's going on in my life, because it's going to hit harder than anything I believe that we've ever seen, including COVID in 2020. So that and all I can do, implore, and I say this not just for everyone else, but also for myself, is that, we just need to be ready to be merciful and show forgiveness. That doesn't mean forget, but just be willing to forgive and, move on from there. Because there's a lot of money behind lying to the people. And so most people are supposed to fall for it. Right. So,
yeah, I think those people, I think there's two things that you have to overcome. The people that bought the lie and continue to do things like, ostracize their family and their friends and whatnot. There's two things you have to overcome with them. I think fear and pride. Fear in that, like, they're fearful that if they do change, like if their mind is changed, like, the government did lie a lot, and they did contradict themselves a lot. And, Siaka has a good point. I think I want to agree with him, but I'm so afraid that I'm going to lose my circle of friends. I'm going to be ostracized. So there's that fear, and in the pride of, well, for some reason in this day and age, it's seen as weakness to have somebody to change your mind when someone has presented like a set of facts in front of you, and then you change your mind, you come to a different realization because the facts have been presented in front of you. And I'm like, I believe in quite the contrary. I'm like, I respect people that hear a set of facts and change their mind based on the facts. I don't see that person as weak, but I must be in a minority because a lot of people are just afraid to change their mind.
Well, I think you go back to the statement about pride, and Seth Gruber, if anyone doesn't know, with White Rose Resistance, check him out. He's doing some great work about pro-life, and also he does great work about how we got to this point that's beyond just the pro-life movement. It's like this has been an effort.
Oh yeah,
since
I've
like
seen him on the Steve Day show.
Yeah,
he was on there. Yep.
And so Seth says something that really changed my view of a lot of these little battles. He goes, all of this is a proxy war for the spirit. So when you point out where it's like people have fear, and so then they go into a prideful mode, pride came before the fall of Satan. And so when you had, again, it goes back to when, I would say the 20th century is the year of secularism, right? And so, or the century of secularism. So you had so many people moving away from God, becoming their own gods, or worshiping other things as their own God. Science became like a big, God for a lot of people. Trust the science. Fauci saying, "I am science." All these different things.
I am the science.
I am the science. So it can't be. It's like it can't be anything else, or then that means your worldview falls apart. And they've hung so much on that. They've hung their acceptance in their community, like you said. They've hung their degree that they got from whatever law school or whatever liberal college that they got. They've even hung like the ability to pay for their own life, because financially they have been moving in a certain way. So they hung so much on that. And I always like to say this to my mom. Sometimes I go, "Hey, it's okay that to know that they lied to you, because again, you're supposed to be tricked." Right. Like they spend trillions of dollars to prepare to work and to trick you. So it's okay. Now you can let go. And I had to learn that when I got sober the first time. Like always with alcohol, I was like, okay, well, if I just drank whiskey, or no more whiskey, but just wine. Well, okay, wine, only beer on Tuesdays. And I tried to find all the different ways. But at the end of the day, the truth was just let go of beer and alcohol in general, because that's what's destroying you.
Right.
And once you get there, the freedom you have and the clarity of how you see the world is just such a beautiful thing. And that's something I pray for all those to go, hey, just accept that you've been lied to. It's okay. You were supposed to fall for it. You weren't supposed to go, you got me. Like, no, they had everything from Obama to George Clooney to, again, the whole Hollywood machine to P. Diddy saying vote or die. It's like they had everything screaming at you to listen to them. So like now you're like, oh, okay, well, I see what's going on. I can let go.
Right.
Hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like the people that like the common the common people that were duped and refused to have their minds changed and that kind of thing. Like I totally agree. Like with Trump coming in office, like, yeah, don't go like scorched earth on those people and whatnot. But there are a number of people that are in power: the Faucis, the Deborah Burks, the Peter Hotez's, these doctors, and obviously Biden and those kind of people. And I consider those people bullies. Yes. Because they're using their bully pulpit there. And so one of the universal things you hear about bullies is that they're going to keep bullying people until they're incentivized not to, like some smaller kids stepping to them and teaching them, don't bully me, one fist and one foot, in the face at a time. And so, and then the bully won't stop again, until you stop them right there. And so one thing I was going to ask you is with that truth in mind there, Trump going after people like Fauci and Birx and all those people just out of a sense of accountability, they're like, would you be okay with that because he's going after the powerful. He's not going after like, Joe Smith, Normie Norm in Cleveland, Ohio, right? He's going after these people that knew that they were in a position to go after and victimize people and that kind of thing. So I mean, my answer right off the bat, just to let you know, I'm totally fine with that. Like, don't do it like egregiously like they did with you. Don't arrest people at the airport when you can just call them up or call their lawyer and all that stuff, because then that opens it up to even more criticism. Now, no matter what, when Trump goes after people, and I don't want to phrase it, when he seeks discipline to hold them accountable, he's going to get criticized
Of course.
by Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper and Lester Holt and all those guys, right? No matter what. But
But no one's going to be watching that.
right. Exactly. Yeah, their 3 viewers will be very mad at Trump right there. But I think that's cool. I think it's totally fine for him to do that. It's warranted and whatnot. But I'm kind of interested to get your thoughts.
Well, I actually think that and Trump said this in his interview recently. He was like, it's not going to be up to him. Crimes were committed. They were committed in front of people's eyes, and yet no one did anything. So what it's really, I think if you're really paying attention to it, he really kind of doesn't personally have to do anything. Mm-hmm. You have someone like Kash Patel, who's been in the agencies and seen what's going on. You have the young lady who's the nominee for the DOJ. And you're like, okay, if crimes were committed, they have to just go down the line. If it leads to Adam Schiff, it leads to Adam Schiff. But one thing that what I would want to see is the transparency of it getting there.
Sure.
Not just all of a sudden Adam Schiff is sitting there and they're going, we're going to give him felonies. It's like, okay, felonies because which I believe, considering the last Trump presidency, that's what's going to happen.
Sure.
So if we can, if they just come out and they lead us down the path of where they're going and show us as they're moving, there is going to be an appetite to see people held accountable for this stuff.
Right.
When they sit there and all they have to do is go down the line with the finances from Wuhan backwards and what was going on. And if it leads back to Fauci, it leads back to Fauci. Not let's go get Fauci, so figure out how it leads to Fauci. Right, you know what I mean? Like just be transparent with as you're moving and going, okay, the J6 committee, what's going on here? Why did you guys delete all that information and we had to go find it and you wouldn't talk to us? Okay, what's in here? Okay, so now you're sitting there and with a lot of defendants like myself, because the J6 committee said, no, this is the only thing that can be used in courts. A lot of judges said you can't bring in other pieces of evidence. Okay, judge, that right there is wrong that you did that, judge. Right. So the committee did something that then this judge followed through that was against the individual right. Both of these two things need to be held accountable, and we need to find out into what depths. That's it. Not like, okay, Liz Cheney pissed me off, so let's go get her. Or I don't like this. No, it's like it will lead. Like they were sloppy.
Yeah,
they were sloppy and prideful and arrogant at it. So it's not like they have to really turn over like look under a bed that hasn't been cleaned in like a year and a half.
Right.
It's all over the place. It's like, where do you really want to start?
Exactly. They're going to make it easy for him. Yeah, don't do that whole thing where find the man, I'll find the crime.
Like they did for Trump. And they did for so many J6ers. I mean, to the point of them arresting me on the tarmac, that was 3 years after they raided my house.
Yeah.
So they raided my house and I wasn't arrested or anything, but yet I was sitting there. Every time I flew, I was harassed by TSA, multiple searches. I couldn't check in early. I had to do 45-minute check at the front desk to prove my identity every time. And mind you, at this point, I've been flying by myself since I was 7 years old. So what do you mean you got to find out who I am? Mm-hmm. For when I was working in the previous years, I'm flying around doing projects. So the fact that they were doing that, and then when they arrested me on the tarmac, they knew, because I had to tell the TSA would know that I am traveling, right? I don't hide where I'm going. So the warrant was issued November 15th. I didn't go out of town till the 27th.
Wow.
So you had a bunch of time. Yeah, almost 2 weeks before you made a move. And they waited 2 weeks till after I was coming back from an awesome moment with my wife and myself. The last trip we were taking before Xavier was born. Yeah. And it was for a really big opportunity that people said, because I was a Trump supporter, open about it, and I was standing up for what I believe in, that I'd never be an actor and work as an actor again.
Yeah.
Now I'm flying back from shooting from the premiere of a motion picture, and it's like, they knew exactly what they were doing. Like you said, they wanted to make a show out of it, and I hope that all those agents are investigated, because the ones that raided me, the ones that arrested me on the tarmac, they all got bonuses for doing so.
Oh, sure. Yep. Exactly.
So.
Maybe they saw it was Lady Ballers. Maybe they saw Lady Ballers, and they're like, the movie pissed them off. Like, all right, it's go time. We were going to do it. Now it's go time.
Now we saw the movie. I'm offended. Let's go. It very well could be. It very well could be.
It'd be funny if that was something. If in 5 years in some court document on your case, like, so Agent Smith said we will not pursue Siaka, but then he saw the movie Lady Ballers.
And I'll go, nice, more biases for the lawsuit. No.
Right, exactly. More cash. There you go.
Cash. Quiche.
No. Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of people that that the idea of restitution is a real thing, because I've been fortunate enough to have donations help me to defend myself all the way. But there are people grandmas who were tossed in because they don't have that, like grandpas and people have to sell. I was talking to one guy who had to sell his dad's farm just to be able to give the lawyer a little bit and then lose anyway. Yeah. And it's like, man, like all the stuff they did, like you said, arrest me in public. I mean, when they raided my house, you're all on the street. A friend of mine, JD Rivera, who we've gotten close over this time. The FBI in late January, when they started moving on people, they put out a tweet that said the FBI going after violent insurrectionists from the Capitol that day, like JD Rivera.
Whoa!
They tweeted it and put it out, and then came and got him like a few days later. This was like, wait. If I, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. That was exactly what that was. And they sat there and they did that. I mean, this guy worked in media and they were just like, nope, here we go. Yeah. We're trying to, Chinese credit score you. Here we go. So it is just really sick what they've done to so many people for misdemeanors too.
Right.
That's the thing. There's most of those convictions are misdemeanors. Only a handful are anything serious.
Like, because yours are just misdemeanors, right? Yours like, that's 4 misdemeanors. That's it. So I mean, it's enough. I mean, enough to like, it's not good for you. Right. So,
Yeah. But I was told by FBI whistleblower, former FBI agent Steve Friend, they're told in Quantico we don't even go after misdemeanors.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait, you should have told these guys.
You're right.
But I'm like, wow, man, like this is crazy that our FBI had become like this. And I remember in high school, I actually did a interview in the Chicago Tribune stating how one day I wanted to be an FBI agent.
Wow. Okay.
And now I'm sitting there being arrested by him. It's pretty wild.
Right, exactly. And now, saying that you're an FBI agent is like telling somebody like, I'm a custodian at some elementary school.
Yeah.
No offense to them, but I mean, it's like FBI, like it's not the prestige.
I would say it's like you're saying you're the IRS. Everyone's like, ugh.
Oh, that's a better example. Yes,
you're a tax collector. Ugh.
Yeah, let's go with yours. Yours is the best shot. I like yours right there. Yeah, he wins the best shot tournament. There he is. That one. But I mean, I don't think there would be any. I don't think there would be the backlash that the left would have us believe if Trump were to pardon like everybody across the board there for January 6th. Because I mean, like, I know it's anecdotal, but even like Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery, they were on Rogan a couple of nights ago. And even Tarantino was on there talking about like he doesn't think it was an insurrection, and he's showing empathy to January 6th defendants just being locked up and with no court, no trial, no nothing like that. And they were talking about that, like they definitely wouldn't have a problem with Trump pardoning everybody, because I'd say even the people that were assaulting cops, they've been in prison long enough. I mean, it's going to be like probably 4 years by the time that they're pardoned. By Trump.
Well, you see is that whole idea of the rule of law that the left kept throwing out there like that. It's like, he pardoned Hunter. He just pardoned about 1,500 people or something like that recently.
Commuted their sentences or something.
Commuted their sentences. A couple of them included 3 Chinese spies, by the way. And so he commuted these guys' sentences.
His coworkers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And so when he did his son like that, people saw, wait a minute, something else is going on. So when it comes down to the J6ers, and it's cool to hear something like Tarantino pointed out, because because people have been going through a lot of stuff already and worse than I have, but it's like you are where you are, and it is a stress to sit there and see the United States versus you. Like that is a big deal. The biggest, most powerful country in the world is versus you in anything. You're like, wow, right?
Right.
And so it's like to go through, and especially you start off with the nonviolent, that's easy. You can knock that out like that because most of those are misdemeanors. So to go after that and flip that over, but we got to get right into the investigation to find out what has been going on, because those that want to, dig their heels in and go, no, they're all evil. I think, again, in order for the country to heal, not for the politicians or those names that set some things up, but for the country, for your neighbor to heal, they need to have it presented to them as well. Like, look, this thing happened. This thing was orchestrated. This thing was set up to entrap people. Yeah. We need to see that, like, I think that's, as long as they move as swiftly into exposing that as they do, right? I'll say right behind, like, pardon us first, get that out the way as soon as possible, and then jump right on the investigation so people can see exactly what they did, see what they erased, see the rest of the footage that they wouldn't show people, like people hanging out or the police firing into the crowd first who were just standing there, all these different things. Like, let's do it, like, put it out there.
Yeah, like like Trump needs to do it with some tact, right? Like, like, and I always get people mad at me about this. Like, I'll point out, like, Trump, he's not the best speaker. Okay, like, he has no brain mouth filter. His vocabulary consists of about 12 words. So he needs to have somebody, like, go out there and, like, put it eloquently about when they do seek justice against people for accountability. Because if you don't punish them, what's going to incentivize them to do it again? Yeah. Exactly. So put in terms like that, but more flowery than I.
But again, that's why it doesn't need to be Trump saying anything.
Exactly.
He's hired the right people to do the job, and they come out and they make their statements, and then let the information just disseminate. That's it. Yeah. That's all I need to do. We saw places like the New York Times is going to be more open, and I think they're more panicking now. LA Times is panicking, so they're like, "Oh, we're going to be a lot less, one-sided." Zuckerberg just gave $1 million to Trump's inauguration. So the places that were hiding the truth, they're going to now be more open to having to print what is out there. So now it's not going to have to be like, well, I saw it on the Rumble, and then inherently the academic type are like, oh, Rumble, it's like it's on Rumble, it's on YouTube, it's on in New York Times, it's everywhere. So now they have to grapple with this thing on their own because they're going to see it in their own publication. It's kind of like what Bill Maher was doing a little bit to a lot of people, where he was calling it out, where those people weren't seeing it anywhere else except for Bill Maher.
Exactly, because if you say you saw it on Rumble or an X post or something like that, you might as well
be telling Fox News.
Yeah, you might as well be telling your academic friend, your crazy Uncle Larry told you about it or something like that. But to them, that's what it is. It's like, they're not gonna believe that, right? Unless you tell them, like, the New York Times or the Washington Post or LA Times or something like that, some source like that. You heard it right there and whatnot. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, I'm not gonna have any problem with Trump holding these people accountable, because like Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys guy, 22 years, he wasn't even in DC when January 6th went down. He had a bunch of his cohorts, they got like 18, 19, 20 years and whatnot. When I'm like, I don't know the particulars. Like, I don't know every single, I haven't crossed every T and dotted every I of all their court cases and whatnot. But I just know that there's a lot of people that have done wrong on the other side. Summer of Love, all that stuff, that they haven't seen a day in court. I mean, Alec Baldwin, I know that's nothing to do with Summer of Love or January 6th. Alec Baldwin murdered a woman or killed a woman, and he's not going to see one day in jail there. His charges got dismissed yet. Enrique Tarrio, again, I'm not wearing an Enrique Tarrio jersey, but I mean, he wasn't even there in DC when January 6th went down. 22 years. It's just
wild.
Something seems a little off about that.
And they never really told us the full extent. They had the charges there, but they never really gave us the full evidence. And he couldn't use things to defend himself. So it's like we saw so many times. Like, go back to JD. Like, JD, I mean, even with my case, they're trying to keep me from being able to use evidence that, like, there were a lot of court cases were denying the use of selective prosecution. The same explanation that Joe gave for the reason why he wanted his son to pardon his son, because he believed it's going to be a selective prosecution. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy can use that to give a full pardon, but I can't use that to defend myself. Like, and other people can't use that to defend themselves, and then be allowed to get that evidence so that you can craft your defense. Like, that's not America. That's someplace else, and it's again really sick that we are here. But I really think I'm really hopeful, and like Patrick Bet-David said, the future looks bright. And the lies that we have to break through are lies that have been kind of woven into the fabric of this culture, I believe, since the passage of Roe v. Wade. And so now with that being one of the stepstones that were taken down, now we got the Bible back in the schools, getting things that are back into the culture. That was our underlining, the kind of DNA of who we are as Americans. To bring those things back to the forefront is going to help us out. And like you said, it has to be it has to be accountability. It has to be.
Yeah, and it's like you have the media. They are annoying me because they are doing interviews like with Trump and other people where they're acting like conservatives need to, like they're demanding a no answer to their question of, are you guys going to go after your political enemies, or are you going to seek retribution against those who you feel have wronged you? Like Kristen Welker the other night when she was interviewing Trump. She was like sitting forward. Did you notice her posture? She was at that very aggressive forward posture, and she's like, "You're not going to seek retribution, are you?" That kind of thing.
It's actually, because I looked at it and I was like, "What is she on?" She was like,
"Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna, are you?"
She's got those bug eyes.
Yeah, I was like, dude, sit back a little bit, girl. Have a conversation.
Like, play hard to get, lady. Like, it's like, you're married. Come on.
You're married. I thought you were, but the left in marriage is kind of all
right. Yeah, that's not really a big deal to them.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, again, it's not about retribution; it's about justice. And these laws, from as arbitrary as Fauci's saying, those COVID restrictions were arbitrary. Yeah. People lost their livelihood based on that. Like, you can't be this unelected bureaucratic position and you've ruined society, and then you just get to, all right, well, see you later. Try again next year. No, there's got to be something so the next person doesn't feel entitled to be able to do that. The next person doesn't turn around and go, I am science.
Yeah.
What? Like,
yeah,
that is just wild. That is just wild.
Exactly, because that Dr. Peter Hotez there, that doctor that was too afraid to go on Joe Rogan and have a debate about COVID with him and whatnot, even though this Dr. Peter Hotez is always on social media spouting like all his theories and all like their fact. He was afraid to go on Rogan to debate Rogan and maybe some other doctors on there. But so he's already talking about, like, what was it, a few days ago? He's like, well, on January 21st, we're going to have some viruses hit America. We've got Zika virus coming this way, maybe, and he's already predicting it out there. And it's like, see, so that just tells me these guys, they weren't held accountable for the COVID-19 pandemic. So they're like, well, let's just run it back. All right, we've looked backwards. We're like, hey, did we get punished? Hey, everybody, did we get punished for what we did during COVID-19? No. Well, let's do it again. There you go. Yeah.
And the other side that you'll see is like the level of depravity that I believe like our science has truly gotten into, when some of the waste that, and I remember it came out with like Fauci spending all this money in putting mosquitoes in a box that was around beagles' heads. It's like, to me, when I hear those things, and then I see when you point out how he came out and said, "Oh, something's coming," I'm like, well, they've been torturing different living creatures for so long to see what happens. The next logical step is humans. And what do we do when we talk about sociopaths? Oh, if they harm animals, then, be careful, because then there's probably a bunch of bodies by the time they're 48, And it's like, I see that stuff and I hear it and I'm like, you're trying to transition monkeys. Like, what are we doing? Like, what?
Right.
Why would you? The monkey didn't say, "Hey, can you guys? This penis is too much for me." Like, and the fact that they're even engaging in those type of sick, depraved type of Frankenstein experiments. I'm like, what is, like, why would they see then human beings as anything else but another species to experiment on? I just don't see how they can't. And that's why you said we need to go, hey, all right, cut this this crazy Faucian thing off. We don't need any hybrid animals. No, we don't need that.
Yeah, I was watching that new Superman documentary on Max the other night, the one about Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
They had a scene where they quickly showed Fauci on there, like back in 2003 or something like that. And I was watching that. He looked different than he does now here, but he was helping the Reeves out with like the paralysis Foundation or whatever that was. And I was watching that scene, like, little do everybody know that we're watching that back in 2003 or the late 90s, whenever that was. That guy right there, man, he's going to be like on TV every 5 minutes. He's going to be like a household name and that kind of thing. And it was just sick, like how, people worship that guy. There's bobbleheads, for God's sake.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what bobblehead you can't find? There's no Bill Gates bobblehead anywhere. Go search. We had to check. Yeah, I think he scrubbed all that from the internet because friends that we were supposed to do a sketch with him, we couldn't find it. But I digress. Fauci. If people go and look up I want to say it was either 82 or 80. It's somewhere between 82 to 84 when he introduced this drug that was supposed to help the gay population with AIDS, and it actually killed and decimated them. So this wasn't the first time that he has done something, introducing an experimental drug to communities and seeing what happens. So like the gay community was screaming about Fauci back in the 80s, and no one paid attention. And he got away, or it's allegedly he got away with a lot of destruction in that community of lives, and it's not surprising that then they come back around. If you don't stop them, it's going to get worse and worse the next time around they come,
You bet. Well, speaking of scummy people here, there's that kid in Fatman that wanted to order the hit on Santa Claus. You like that segue right there?
That was clean. That was clean.
Scummy Fauci to the piece of crap kid right there, exactly, hiring Walton Goggins for Fatman, because I want to make sure we fit some more Fatman in here.
Let's go.
I know, because I wanted the conversation to just kind of flow where it flowed and whatnot, until I awkwardly went back to Fatman. Fair enough. But I just, with the Fatman thing, I think that I think it's a great showcase for Walton Goggins there, because I don't know if you saw Walton Goggins on The Shield and on Justified,
and he was also in Sons of Anarchy. Played that dude.
Likes the cross.
He goes hard. He goes hard in the paint with his characters, which as an actor I appreciated. Some of the choices I wouldn't pick as an actor, but the fact that he goes that hard, it is something that you appreciate as a
exactly. Lindy Rigg just finished Fatman right there, so excellent right there. You are part of the fan. Let us know, Lindy Rigg 87. What you thought of Fatman there, but Walton Goggins. I mean, and he is a very wide-ranging actor, because he was just in Fallout.
Yep.
And in Fallout, he played kind of like this the no-nose guy right there, exactly. And then before the nuclear attack, he's like this buttoned-up, righteous kind of actor, a family man and that kind of thing. And as far from his character on The Shield and Justified as you could possibly get right there. And obviously Fatman, too, as far from that character as possible. But I like his character. It's so idiosyncratic. So,
but he always has just that nice little through line and hint of sinisterness. He does it. That's as an actor, I like watching him. He has he can be charming with his sinister nature. He can be kind of grotesque as a cross dresser, but it's always got a nice little line of sinister underneath. Like, I like him, but I know I shouldn't. Like, I like him, but he'll probably stab me and like steal my TV. like he kind of has that. So again, for him, like he's found his niche and he does it really well. And then he's that way he's able to be a sympathetic character in certain scenes and certain moments in a movie or because it came to find out in Fatman. I think if I remember correctly, there was sympathetic moments where one of the reasons why he kept pushing was because he felt slated, or slighted by Santa, and he's like. This was like something else that was a little more for him than just a job. And that was, you're like, oh, okay. Like you can kind of, not like I relate to him in that sense, but you go, okay, like poor guy to a certain extent, but shoot him,
he's not a one-dimensional villain right there. Like you see too many, like I was watching Kingdom of Heaven the other night, and Kingdom of Heaven, the Ridley Scott movie, was supposed to be the second hit, like Gladiator. And the main villain in that is like this one-note cartoonish villain, this French guy and whatnot. Whereas Walton Goggins in Fatman is multi-layered. He's got depth. He's got backstory to him there, and made him even more compelling there. And one thing I wanted to pick your brain on this one is when Mel Gibson says to him, "Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't replace your parents." What do you think he meant by that? Do you think like he meant like his parents died, or maybe his parents were just so crappy to him, or something like that? I couldn't quite make out what
I thought
Chris made of that.
Well, I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that was one of the letters as a kid he wrote to Santa, that he wanted new parents and he wanted Santa to be his parent.
Oh,
and so, or new parents. And so the fact that Santa didn't deliver this present to him and he saw all the people around him getting the presents they say they wanted,
right?
That stuck with him, but he didn't. It was like, much like we started earlier with the conversation about like the college athletes then going straight to the pros. And now it's like, you're not an adult just because you have $40 million. Like, you're still a child, right?
Exactly.
And he just didn't grow up from being disappointed because his family life was so crappy, right?
Right.
His parents were so terrible. Santa's giving out new gifts. Why didn't you listen to me? I was a good boy, right?
Yeah.
It's like he didn't learn about life, and that was honestly that is the moment where you feel, at least I felt, I had this understanding of how he went down a dark path because he couldn't let go of that pride, but also because it came from hurt, right? It came from like a deep hurt. And I understood how people can do that and how people can get caught up. So that's what makes that movie so cool, because it wasn't, everyone had their thing. Even that little kid, being as spoiled as he was, that was the reason he went after him. It wasn't just to go after Santa. It was because he didn't get what he wanted.
Right.
And Goggins was so on board because he didn't get what he wanted, but it was just from a more painful, in his mind, painful position. And it gave so much, because if you think about it, that movie didn't have a huge cast at all, even including background. It was like maybe 5 to 8 people who were main
end
characters.
Credits are very short.
Yeah. But it was still like, it had a lot of weight behind it. How many times have you seen a movie made nowadays that you have less than 10 characters that are just all in there? It's over in, a couple hours, and yet it's still, it still carried you, it still holds your heart, it still pushes you right.
Not very many.
rare.
Yeah, The Revenant's the first one that came to mind. The Revenant, but there's not very many of them out there, and yeah, I mean, like even Walton Goggins' character there, because they don't give him I guess they do give him a name at the end, because I think
but throughout the whole thing,
throughout they call him like just the tall guy or something. There, but he did show. Yeah, he had a cigarette burns on his wrists there. His dad put out the menthols on his arm right there, and I'm like, kind of harkening back to Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club, with the cigarette burns there. But I guess, if your dad's like putting out cigarettes on your arm, I think that maybe going down the road and becoming a hitman is probably a possibility.
Well, also if he's not like, let's say you hear about these stories, right? This guy's putting cigarettes on him. I guess this is what I developed. I put cigarettes on him. He could have been, his father could be a church going guy. So like the idea of Jesus or God saving him wasn't happening in his own home. As a kid, think about the Christmas Story. Who do you go ask for? Who do you thought if you go ask this person, he's going to get his rifle? Santa. So as a kid, in that kid mind, when things are bad, in order to get good, who do you go for? When especially cultures like Santa gives you what you want, especially if you're being good. So to me, I could see how, again, going back, I could see how he got so turned up because what was happening to him, and maybe there was nowhere else to turn except for this idea that is Santa Claus. I would say, you go to Jesus Christ, he'll do you better. But for what he held on to, you can tell it was like Santa was, boom, that was the thing that was supposed to get him out, because he saw it happen everywhere else,
right? And
nothing, no response or nothing. And
yeah,
I kind of wish that it could have went more. I think to make it fun, that they involved the kid, but I kind of wish it was more about that. Those two were the main story, so you can kind of get more into his background, but the kid made it a little fun and lighter. The kid was gruesome, wasn't it? The kid was tough. Ooh.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I thought he was a good actor too.
Threatening torture and that kind of thing. So yeah. Well, I mean, the actor that plays him seems like as much a turd in real life as he is in the movie right there, because on my Sunday show that I do, my spoiler-free review of Fatman that I did, I played a clip there where the actor, he was getting interviewed along with Mel Gibson and Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and this is a nice, friendly little interview, and the interviewer just says, "So hey, I forget the actor's name, but how'd you like playing a little kid?" And the little kid like awkwardly throws a Trump insult in there. He's like, "Well, I just channeled my inner Donald Trump to play this really mean kid, and I pretended I was Trump and I didn't get my way, and so I that's where I hearkened my evil and my spoiled that kind of thing. So my spoiled attitude.
To me, that's the media working hard. The media worked really hard to make him the ultimate bad guy.
Oh yeah.
And so it was actually that to me also became like the loss of creativity, because if anything's all bad, it's always Trump, bad. It's like, dude, we get over it, man. You can't keep playing the same chord over and over and expecting people to be like, okay, hey, that's great. Like, yeah, great. Ooh, yay. You went in there and do it. It's like, no, we get it. And it's not as bad as what it seems. I think that, again, we'll go back to so many people and so many institutions and organizations are going to come to Jesus moment and have to let go of that. I really do believe that psychiatry is going to classify TDS as its own true mental defect, because it is. I've seen it. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah. No doubt, exactly. Yeah. And I know you got to get running here and whatnot, but did you have anything you wanted to plug or anything you wanted to mention? Feel free. The floor is yours, my good
man. Thank you, Van. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I got to come back. I'll do after the new year because all the family stuff. But if you guys want to keep track of what's going on with my case, if you want to help out, you can donate finances, or you can give prayers. Go to defendsiaka, as you see right here.com. That's defend SIAKA.com. Also, if you are in Arizona, you're going to be at Merica Fest this year. I will be there as a Blexit special guest. Come up, say hi. I'm always down to take pictures and hang out and chat for a little bit. So come over and do the Merica Fest. I think it's going to be a huge celebration this year.
And that's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
It's next week. It's actually starts next Thursday. So it goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hope to see you guys there. And continue to pray for our country, and while you can in your neighborhood, make friends and reconnect.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll be hanging with Charlie Kirk, not this weekend, but the next weekend after that and whatnot. And, check him out. He's going to be on Fox News later on tonight.
Yeah, my bad. Thank you for reminding me. I got to go.
Exactly, right, exactly. I know your schedule better than you do. What's going on? Yeah, there you go, exactly. And I'm sure you're going to plug Movies Merica on Fox News, of course.
Merica, If they give me space. If they give me space, I got like 30 seconds. I got to be like, no. Movie Merica.
Exactly, right there. I'm that guy who does that. Like, I was like, Movies Merica on Fox News. Like, no, I don't expect you to do that.
But thank you, though. I appreciate it, guys. Check me out tonight with Trace Gallagher.
Trace Gallagher, obviously outstanding. So, all right. Well, thanks again, there, Siaka. It was my honor. I was honored to have you on. So,
yes,
and have yourself a great one.
Privilege to be. You too, my friend. Be well.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. All right. So, yes, the Siaka Massaquoi here on Movies Merica, spoiler warning, and check him out. If you just go to his website is in the description of the show, and then you'll find that when you go to his website, he has all the other links that you should check out. He's got a Give, Send, Go page from there to help basically provide money for his legal defense with his J6 case there. And then I'm sure there's probably a place where you can learn more about Siaka and see all the accomplishments, that kind of thing, all the appearances and roles that he's been in, all that stuff. So, check out the Siaka Massaquoi link down in the description right there, everybody. So, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the show so far. And, get in the live chat there. If you guys are just doing what we call lurking here, and you've got both hands free, and you can type up something there in the live chat and live chat with everybody there. Get in the live chat there. Don't be shy. Okay, don't be shy. Get in there. They won't hurt you. We got Lindy Rigg and Agent X6 and Beyond Formal in there, and they're great guys to talk to here during the show and talk movies like Fatman and all of that stuff right there. But real quick here, let me do this here and let you guys know all about our great website that we have here, and that is the tdpn.locals.com website right up there. You see it up there at the very tippy top, tdpn.locals.com. And that is our website for the Till Death Podcast Network. We have all kinds of great content in there, like videos and blogs and articles all about movies and entertainment, politics, booze recipes. No, not boobs. Booze recipes, hot button sizzling topics of the day that everyone's talking about. We've got all the content all about that at tdpn.locals.com. And as you see down below, if you put in promo code TDPN, you get 1 month free membership. Yes, you get to be a VIP. You get to sit up in the VIP section where all the beautiful people sit, all right, whether you're beautiful or not. Okay, so, and yeah, you're getting up there, you're sitting in the tdpn.locals.com VIP section with the bottle service and the hot waitresses, and you're pointing down from the section, looking down the dance floor, look at all those peasants down there. You're not a VIP to tdpn.locals.com, but I am. So get there and get your 1 month free membership to the website. And then after that, it's just a measly $3 from there to continue being the VIP up in the VIP lounge for the website. And then also, real quick, if you would, go ahead and just see that like button and then click that like button, because that like button there is calling your name. Okay, it's singing a siren song saying, click me now. So click that like button there for this episode. And then if you're feeling ambitious, feel free to go to all my past episodes and just go like button crazy and start clicking the like button on all my past episodes too. That'd be sweet. You can put that on your resume. There you go. And then if you haven't already, click that subscribe or follow button. That's also down there. And then the notification bell, if you haven't already, to get notified whenever there's a hot, fresh, piping hot new episode of Movies Merica ready for you, okay? And then if you are not watching live, say, you were too busy flossing your cat or, arranging your sock drawer to watch this live, and you're watching it later on, well, hey, first up, how you doing? Thanks for watching here in the year 2027. There we go. And if you want to communicate with me, if you want to keep the lines of communication going back and forth between you and I, well, the comments section is your field of opportunity down there. So get in the comment section and, just, at least, if you want to just give me a simple hello, or, let me know if I do something on the show that it just annoys the piss out of you, or let me know if there's something that you really like that I do, and then I will do that more. Okay. Or if there's a movie that you want me to review. Only caveat to that is make sure it's a movie that more than 5 people are going to want to see a review for. Okay, so that's all I ask. I'm a simple man with simple requests, and that's all I ask there for that thing right there. But all right, let's get into more Fatman right there. It's just not quite going to be the same without Siaka to help me out with the movie there. But Mel Gibson, what can you say, man? I mean, however you feel about him. I mean, yes, he had his controversy and that kind of thing. Last time I checked, there is still this thing called grace. Okay, so, and also none of us are perfect. Okay, speaking for myself as well. Okay, and I think that if we all do something wrong, we would like to have people forgive us if we are legitimately remorseful for it, that kind of thing. And so I think Mel Gibson, he's been on his best behavior, right, since that all went down, in 2005, 2006, all right? It's almost 20 years, right, since that all went down there. And so, but regardless of how you feel about that whole controversy, he delivers an amazing gift of a performance in Fatman as Kris Kringle. And he just plays like this gruff yet loving and vulnerable character. Kind of like Siaka was talking about earlier. He's gruff. He's like the Roger Murtaugh that we saw in Lethal Weapon, right? He's like the Santa Claus version of Danny Glover's Roger Murtaugh in Fatman here, and he's just trying not to let the parents, allowing their kids to become spoiled little brats affect him, because if the kids are naughty, I mean, we all know, right? He knows if you've been bad or good, right? So be good for goodness sake, right? Well, if you're naughty, you get lumps of coal, you don't get a gift. And so there's no gift for the elves, in Santa's workshop to make, right? And so it's revealed in this movie that Santa gets paid by how many gifts that he creates, right? He doesn't get paid for coal, right? And so less kids are good. He's creating less gifts. he's making less money because he gets paid based on the amount of gifts he makes and that kind of thing. So he's having some financial woes and that kind of thing. And so he's trying not to let that depress him. But that's one of the wonderful things about this movie is I like how Mrs. Claus, or Mrs. Kringle, played by the fantastic Marianne Jean-Baptiste, I like how she's there to be an emotional comfort, right? She's there to keep him motivated. And that reminds me of one of my favorite scenes in the movie is, when he's there and he's just, he's beating the crap out of the heavy bag, right? He's feeling depressed. He's feeling down. He's feeling downtrodden. And she brings out, those folders with the letters from kids that letters from these kids, that they sent him. And, like one of them, for example, was a little kid asked him for a little, Fisher Price, kitchen set or cooking set or something like that. And then there's a picture of him as an adult. He's like this, 5-star Michelin chef or something like that. And it's a very touching scene. And so his wife is there to provide emotional support for him like that. So I think that's a really cool thing about this movie. This movie has heart, in addition to bullets whizzing all over the place and people getting shot and buildings blowing up and that kind of thing. So I like a good Hallmark movie, heartwarming movie with my bloody violence. I love it. I crave it so. But let me know in the live chat there. If you agree with me, are you a big emotional softie yet a complete psycho like me that likes the Hallmark heartwarming mixed in with their bloody gun violence? So let me know. Keep me abreast of the situation right there. All right, I'm getting really, really thirsty here, everybody, and so as you know, that is my not so subtle way of saying that I want to get into a little brew review time. All right, so today's brew here is a little Shiner, a little Texas beer. A little Shiner, a little Desert Mirage Hazy IPA, and this is part of like their Tex Hex line. Their Shiner is branching out from just their regular old Shiner Bock, which, Shiner Bock comes in handy in a pinch when you're on a fishing boat, or you're at a bar or something like that. But if you want something a little bit more exotic coming, to you from Shiner, Texas, then check out their Tex Hex line. They have like a series of IPAs. Again, this is their Desert Mirage Hazy IPA. And this mixes like cactus water and strata hops, and it just conjures, what I would consider some very tantalizing, wondrous tropical flavors here. And it does have a nice extended finish to it, a little finish to it that does pack a little bit of a punch right there. It's 8% alcohol by volume, so it's got a little bit of heft to it. 45 IBU or international bitterness units. It's 45 on the international bitterness units scale there, and it's got kind of a citrusy nose to it as well. And as you can tell, they give you plenty right there. You're getting some Costco quantities here in this tall boy there. But again, this comes to us straight out of Shiner, Texas. And, I'm sick of talking about it. I want to drink it. So here we go. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So, again, part of their Shiner Tex Hex line there. It's their, Desert Mirage Hazy IPA. So, as you can probably tell, I'm recommending this brew. And in order to get it, like, say if you happen to live in, like, some town with one stoplight, and you don't live in a relatively major metropolitan area, then you can go to, like, an app like Open Bar or drizzly.com, someplace like Uber Eats. Uber Eats delivers booze now. And, grab yourself some of this liquid gold right there, okay? But check that out. It's the good stuff. But let's move on here with the rest of the show. Okay, so, and of course, we're always plugging, we're always selling right here. And so to that end, got to let you know that we've got Movies Merica merch out there. Yes, for you to feast your eyes on, and not just for you to feast your eyes on, but for you to get it into the cart and buy the sweet Movies Merica merch. And it's that season, right, where you're not just buying stuff for yourself unless you're some, selfish bastard. It's Christmas time or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Festivus, right? It's a time to buy stuff for, your loved ones out there. And so, what says, I love you, Grandma, better than a Movies Merica t-shirt, okay? So, I mean, when I think of, grandmas, what do they love? Hugs, cookies, and Movies Merica t-shirts. Okay. But we have much more than just Movies Merica t-shirts. So when you click on the merch link down in the description right there, you're going to see Movies Merica phone cases, Movies Merica shot glasses, yoga pants, keychains, what have you. All kinds of stuff down there. I mean, maybe even a Movies Merica flux capacitor if you're building a DeLorean time machine, so who knows? But you don't know what's there until you click on that link, or that merch description down, a merch link in the description. There we go. Say that 10 times real fast. And as you see, if you put in promo code MOVIES, you're going to get free shipping on your order right there. If I could spit that out right there. So there you go. So check that merch out right there, because, you don't want to be that guy that shows up on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, and you're the lame guy with the lame gifts. You stopped at the gas station on the way home on Christmas Eve and bought some incense for your wife. Well, the next day you're going to have to buy yourself a divorce lawyer. Okay, so if you want to avoid that, give the gift that will make your wife want to reward you back, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, there we go. And get her some Movies Merica merch. There you go. All right, so check that out. And again, if you guys are watching the show right now and you've got both hands free right there, start typing, getting that typing on your keyboard or on your phone right there. So start in live chat, getting the live chat on Rumble or YouTube. All right. And let me hear from you. Just at least give me a thumbs up, or wave, or get a live chat and say, hey, Fatman is a great movie, or Fatman sucks, or I hate Mel Gibson, I'll never watch anything with him again. Like, let me just, get in the live chat. Let me know. Let me hear from you and that kind of thing. Or let me know what your favorite, Mel Gibson movie is. Maybe you're one of those weird people, and, What Women Want is your favorite. Is your favorite Mel Gibson movie there? Not mine. Not at all. Pardon me. Very classy, I know. But let's hear more about Fatman here. And I just thought, so if you watch a lot of CNBC, you're into the financial stuff. You watch Matt Kohrs' show on Rumble about stocks and all that stuff, investing and that kind of thing. You probably will like Fatman because it does go over stuff like how Santa's operation is funded. The stuff that they didn't cover in Elf or Santa Claus the movie. Any of those movies right there. You do get the kind of more of the granular, down to earth, skinny about how Santa's operation works there and how it's funded by the U.S. government with subsidies, based on how many gifts are delivered to kids, like I was touching on before. And then, it's weird, like I was talking about with Siaka. It's weird that it's a surreal world in this movie where everyone just knows that Santa exists, right? Just like they know Elon Musk exists, or Mark Zuckerberg exists, or Donald Trump exists, right? And so, but as far as the funding of Santa's workshop and all that stuff, I'm just picturing in this world, there's congressional hearings, up on the Hill with Democrats and Republicans, and Republicans are wanting to cut down on the amount of money that we send to Santa, and Democrats are like, nah, let's write him a blank check, like they're like they're Ukraine or something like that, right? And then you get, Fox News or CNN reporters like, well, I'm reporting here live from Capitol Hill, and the congressional hearing is all about how much funding they will be sending to Santa Claus this year. And well, the testimony got pretty heated here as chairman, as congressional chairman, Matt Gaetz, just reporting on stuff where they're talking about Santa in real life and getting him funding and all that stuff. And, some congressmen are like, what, we're spending too much of the taxpayers' money, giving all this money to Santa Claus. And what has it got us? There's fighting, amongst themselves and that kind of thing in a congressional hearing, that kind of stuff. So I just thought that was hilarious right there. And then also, I think that Fatman does have like this quirky Coen Brothers movie vibe. Okay, so if you watch like Raising Arizona or Burn After Reading, any of those kind of more quirkier Coen Brothers movies, this movie does kind of have that with like just the music that gets used and the fact that like there's one scene where Walton Goggins, he gets up to North Peak, where Santa Claus is not the North Pole, they call it North Peak, and where Kris Kringle, should call him Kris Kringle, where Kris Kringle, lives on his farmstead, and so he's going into like a sporting goods store, and he's looking for like some gear to wear to go when he goes and tries to kill Santa Claus, and so he spots like this all white, wilderness trekking, outfit or something like that. And Walton Goggins, points to it, in the display case, like, hey, what about that one? And the clerk of the store is like, I can tell you're a man who appreciates a fine garment, It's like, it just sounds like a line straight out of a quirky Coen Brothers movie, even like Blood Simple. Blood Simple was kind of a quirky movie for it being this murder mystery. Like, have you ever watched Blood Simple? M. Emmett Walsh's character there just makes this movie very quirky and that kind of thing. So shout out to the Coen brothers there, Joel and Ethan. Maybe secretly had a hand in Fatman there. Who knows? Stranger Things could be out there, and who knows all about that. So, but and one other thing I always like to warn people about is a movie a woke after school special. And, maybe there's something in this movie that is woke that maybe some more astute viewers saw in the movie there. But I didn't really see anything, to be honest with you, in this movie that just screamed, whoa, okay, I had nothing like that, okay? And now I'm somebody with the definition of woke, or my definition of woke is something that is out there and with the intent to divide a group of people, divide people in order to destroy this country. Okay. And so that's my definition of woke right there. So we see plenty of examples of woke in movies, and you see it and you're like, oh, okay. So they have that in there because they know it's going to divide this group of people from that group of people right there, just to get people arguing. Because what, like if you're like a foreign power trying to destroy America, which is the most powerful country in the world, well, why would you trouble yourself in launching some invasion on the country when you could, use woke, when you could use DEI, we could use all these things to get people to destroy themselves from the inside, and you just come in and you sweep up the mess, and hey, congratulations, we have another country here. Sweet. We didn't have to bomb any cities. We didn't have to do a land invasion. We didn't have to bring over any tanks or anything like that. We just used Hollywood and academia to get everybody fighting with each other. Eventually, there was a civil war. They all killed each other, and here we go. We're going to sweep on in and take over America right there. Nice and easy. Not for them, for us. There you go. So, so that's kind of my definition of woke right there. So I didn't see anything that fit my definition of woke in this movie. Now, there might be some people that would say, oh, well, they made his wife black in this movie because they were trying to, meet some kind of quota in this movie. They had to have at least one black character in here and that kind of thing. They didn't want everyone screaming about that. You might have some people commenting about that, having those kind of takes on this movie. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know if that was the reasoning. I was listening to or watching another review of Fatman on YouTube earlier today, and their suspicion of the question that they asked without answering it. The question that's kind of put out there is, well, maybe because Mel Gibson is in such hot water still, almost 20 years. Well, I guess Fatman came out 4 years ago. But still, when Fatman came out, it was like 15 years or something like that after his controversy. And so they were theorizing, going, well, hey, maybe they made his wife black to kind of, clean up his image for this movie, kind of give him some cover, that kind of thing. So, and again, they didn't know either. You know what? I don't know. I can't tell from where I'm sitting if that was the case. All I know is Marianne Jean-Baptiste did a fantastic job. I completely bought that they were a couple, for, centuries. Because think about it. Santa Claus, or Kris Kringle as he's called in this movie, they've been around for centuries, right? I mean, Santa Claus has been delivering gifts to all the boys and girls, according to this movie, for centuries, right? So they've been around for a while here. But I think that, I think that she did a fantastic job in this movie playing Mrs. Kringle there. So it was fantastic. Love that show right there. I love that part of the movie. And let's do this here real quick. I'm going to switch it up here because I want to let you guys know about somebody or a company that has been cool enough and gracious enough to sponsor this show and all the other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network. And that would be Flip City Magazine. And Flip City Magazine, well, what is it? Well, I shall tell you. So Flip City Magazine is the more than suitable replacement for Mad Magazine and Crack Magazine. Because remember those magazines, Mad and Cracked? Back in the day, you could pick up a Mad Magazine and just depend on getting at least a couple of good giggles from Mad Magazine and Cracked. And because, maybe you're having a crappy day, your boss is on your ass, your wife is, bitching at you to clean out the garage. Like, God, I need something to take the edge off my horrible life. Hey, Mad Magazine. Hey, make me happy, make me giggle, right? So, well, unfortunately, they allowed themselves to be assimilated into the woke Borg, okay? And they are now in the business of telling you how to live a woke life, young man, right? You live that woke life, okay? But Flip City, that is not a problem. Flip City's main aim or number one priority or only priority is to make you laugh your ass off, all right? But enough hearing me spout off about Flip City. Let's hear it straight from them.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
Yeah, oh yeah. So that should have gotten you all psyched, all fired up to grab yourself some Flip City if you haven't already subscribed to Flip City. And we are giving you absolutely zero excuse, all right, because we've got the Flip City link in the description down below, all right? And you just got to click on that, subscribe to Flip City, and get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around if you put in promo code MOVIES when you order your Flip City there, okay? You will not be disappointed, all right? I am not bullshitting you there, and you know because I've got my Flip City magazine right here. Yes, it is so fine. Don't you agree? Look at that. Look at that shine. Look at that glimmer. Let me get the light on there. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, it's so good, so nice, like a freshly waxed car. And you get the great artwork right there. You got the Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, and got a Nerd-rotic interview there. We all love Nerd-rotic, right? So, and you got some great artwork there on the back. Let me flip this over and tantalize you. Hell, even got cocktail recipes in there. Got booze recipes in there, all right? And got some great cartoons as well. Fantastic, all right? So grab yourself some Flip City magazine right there. And I know that, I mean, I'll read like the same issue over and over again, okay? Because I know I miss some stuff right there. So I will read this over here. And it's just great to have a magazine where you just got to hold it in your fingers and enjoy it for yourself, all right? So, it'll be the end of your, 4-minute trips to the toilet right there. You'll be sitting down there for 4 hours, all right, reading your Flip City magazine because it's so entertaining and whatnot. And people are just going to think like, man, this guy's weird. All I hear is Van in the bathroom giggling to himself like a little girl. He's sitting on the toilet. What the hell's going on with him? Well, they're going to know you're reading Flip City magazine. So click that Flip City link in the description down there and get yourself some Flip City magazine now. Do it. All right. So I'm going to grab myself another little drink here that off this brew that I introduced you to. And hey, get in the, grab your drink, okay? It's Thirsty Thursday. It's pre-Friday. It's almost a weekend right there. We're getting closer to Christmas. And it's, the closer we get to Christmas, the time to be even more merry is here. So here we go. Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. Okay, so let's do this here real quick, and we'll just check out the chats and make sure that I'm not missing out on anybody right there. We are good to go. And you know what? Hey, you guys, feel free to send the link to this episode while it's live to anybody that you even remotely suspect would want to check this out, all about Fatman and that kind of thing. Or, send out the link after the episode. You can always watch, obviously, the playback of it, of course. And anybody that you remotely suspect would be interested in Siaka Massaquoi there, or maybe they love him from the Babylon Bee and seeing him on Fox News. Again, he's going to be on Fox News tonight, okay, with Trace Gallagher. And he's been on the Daily Wire. He's Black Jeremy. Okay, he plays Black Jeremy Boring there on the Daily Wire as well. So if you know somebody that likes themselves some Siaka, send them the link to this episode and they can check that out later on there. All right. So let's do this here. I want to move on to my favorite segment of every Movies Merica spoiler warning episode. And if you are an avid attendee or watcher of this show, my favorite segment of every Movies Merica spoiler warning show is the movie military moment. All right, and so you may be asking yourself, what is the movie military moment? Well, I shall tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So the movie military moment is the connection to movies, I should say, between the military and the movies, is imagine someone that has won the Congressional Medal of Honor, because that's what this segment is all about, is paying tribute to someone who has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And so if you are awarded that medal, you didn't get it for being the best kiss ass, on your base, or being the best letter sorter at the base post office, or, the one that gets the most hammered the most often at the NCO club. Okay, no, you got the medal for doing some cool shit. Okay, so like you are on Iwo Jima, you're a Marine Lance Corporal, and you're running up the beach to attack a Japanese pillbox, and all you got is you and a live grenade because you're out of rounds, and you see these Japs are about to mow down all your buddies over there, and you run into the Japanese pillbox, pull the pin, live grenade, you blow yourself up and the rest of all the Japs to save all your buddies. Or, maybe you're a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and there's a hot LZ, and the VC are lighting up the troops and lighting up the landing zone you're supposed to land at. But there's a bunch of injured down there, and the troops need ammo, and you've got ammo in the back of your Huey, and you're like, you know what? I don't care if it's a hot LZ. We might get shot to shit, but I'm going down there because we need to get the wounded evacuated, and we need to get the troops some ammo. And even your captains on the radio go, get that chopper back here. All right, you're gonna get shot, and you're like, I'm not gonna do it, sir. All right, I gotta get down. I gotta save the men. Something like that. So shit like that is what you get awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for. And so, as you would imagine, if you see either of those two situations on a big movie screen in front of you, it would be a feast for your eyes. It would be a very cool movie military moment. That's the connection, okay? And so for this movie military moment, we are going to pay tribute to Master Sergeant Travis E. Watkins, who fought for us in the Korean War. And I believe Master Sergeant Watkins, who was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, does deserve his own sweet movie military moment music. And so let's make that happen right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay tribute to Master Sergeant Travis E. Watkins, who was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions in the Korean War. And let's learn more about Master Sergeant Travis E. Watkins. Master Sergeant Watkins distinguished himself by conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty in action against the enemy. When an overwhelming enemy force broke through and isolated 30 men of his unit, he took command, established a perimeter defense, and directed action which repelled continuous fanatical enemy assaults. With his group completely surrounded and cut off, he moved from foxhole to foxhole, exposing himself to enemy fire, giving instructions and offering encouragement to his men. Later, when the need for ammunition and grenades became critical, he shot 2 enemy soldiers 50 yards outside the perimeter and went out alone for their ammunition and weapons. As he picked up their weapons, he was attacked by 3 others and wounded. Returning their fire, he killed all 3 and gathered up the weapons of the 5 enemy dead, returning to his amazed comrades. During a later assault, 6 enemy soldiers gained a defilated spot and began to throw grenades into the perimeter, making it untenable. Realizing the desperate situation and disregarding his wound, he rose from his foxhole to engage him with rifle fire. Although immediately hit by a burst from an enemy machine gun, he continued to fire until he had killed the grenade throwers. With this threat eliminated, he collapsed and, despite being paralyzed from the waist down, encouraged his men to move on. He refused all food, saving it for his comrades, and when it became apparent that help would not arrive in time to hold the position, ordered his men to escape to friendly lines. Refusing evacuation as his hopeless condition would burden his comrades, he remained in his position and cheerfully wished them luck. Through his aggressive leadership and intrepid actions, this small force destroyed nearly 500 of the enemy before abandoning their position. Master Sergeant Watkins' sustained personal bravery and noble self-sacrifice reflect the highest glory upon himself, and is in keeping with the esteemed tradition of the U.S. Army. And we salute you, Master Sergeant Travis E. Watkins. And that has been our movie military moment for this episode. All right. So, yes, give it up for Master Sergeant Travis E. Watkins as I adjust my dry contact lens right here. Yep, gotta love that. But, you guys don't have to wait for me to do these movie military moment segments here. You can go to the website. It's CMH as in Congressional Medal of Honor. I'm sorry, CMOHS as in Congressional Medal of Honor. So CMOHS.org. And you can see the Congressional Medal of Honor recipients for yourself right there. You don't have to wait for me to do it. All right, so there you go. But that has been the movie military moment. All right, let's check out the live chat right here. And we've got Deplorable Patriot Mom movies right there. Welcome, Deplorable Patriot Mom. The more deplorable, the more welcome you are to this show right here. Because quite frankly, this show is very deplorable and proud of it. All right. Yes, we have a lot of garbage up in this show right there. And there you go. I like Deplorable Patriot Mom buttering me up right there. Epic movie voice. Yes. That's what I was going for right there. And it is, and I'm touched. I'm touched that meant something to you right there. Okay. So I'm not quite as good as like Don LaFontaine. He's like the classic movie voiceover guy. So just like this, like look up the Predator trailer from like 1987. And you'll hear Don LaFontaine or like the Lethal Weapon trailers or something like that. You know, that's done. You know, in a city, a lone LA cop. Like that's Don LaFontaine right there. Sadly, we lost Don LaFontaine about 10 years ago or so. So gotta love it there. And got to. I'm getting distracted here from the live chat, but everybody, tell your friends. Get in the live chat. Join me. Join everybody. Join the millions of people that are watching this show live, I'm sure. Okay. There are maybe once Siaka left, they're like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. If he's gone, I'm gone. Okay. And real quick, just let me do this here while I beg for money. I mean, let you guys know how you can throw some money my way if you are appreciating what I'm doing at any level. Okay, so if you appreciate how I'm reviewing the movie and giving you a chance to discuss Fatman in this case, or warning you off of a movie if it's woke, okay, because I don't want anybody wasting their hard-earned dollars on a movie that's just going to preach woke and DEI and all that shit. Okay, I wouldn't want to have to spend that kind of crap. So you shouldn't have to spend money on that kind of crap right there. So I want to save you from that. So if you appreciate that enough to throw me a buck or $2 or $500 or whatever, okay, by all means, you can definitely do that via Rumble Rant. That's how you do it if you're on the Rumble side. And if you want to give me a buck or $2 via a Rumble Rant on Rumble, it's very, very easy. Very easy. So down by where you type in your live chat message there, you just got to click on the button with a $sign on it, and it'll just ask you how much cash you want to throw my way. No, not tango, cash, okay? So, and then also if you're on YouTube, if you're not watching me on the Rumble, you're watching me on the Tube of Views, then you can give me what's called a super chat. Okay, so super chat to the rescue. And so if you want to give me a super chat, then it's very similar to how you do it on Rumble. Down by where you type in your live chat message, just click on the button with the dollar bill on there. So dollar bill, y'all. And that'll ask you how much you want to throw my way. Again, $1, $2, $500, $1,000. Wow, you go crazy, all right? Maybe you just got a raise or something like that. 10,000 clams for this guy right here, okay? But if it can't be 10,000 clams and it has to be $1, that's cool. I will still be touched right there. But again, only if you want to. I'm not going to be that guy that, that asshole that guilt trips people into, you better send me money, otherwise you're not very classy. Not going to be that guy. Not going to do it whatsoever. And so that's enough begging for money out of me right there. And I love that right there. Yes, Beyond Formal, I will be watching Fat Man soon. Yes. I converted another one. Another one for the Fat Man Jihad. I convinced another one. No. Beyond formal, you will like Fat Man. It is very good. I will not steer you to a shit movie. Okay, not at all. All right, so you will like Fat Man there. And now another movie in the same vein as Fat Man is Violent Night. And I would do a review on Violent Night. I already did a review on Violent Night because that movie came out like a year ago. And so yeah, look for my Violent Night review a year ago. Okay, and you'll check out Violent Night. So there's a spoiler-free review of Violent Night out there a year ago, and there's also a Movies Merica spoiler warning show like this show right here, all about Violent Night as well. So there we go. Check that out there. And all right, yeah, K-Star Rock right there. And got I've never heard of Fat Man. Thanks, Movies Merica. Well, hey, you're very welcome right there. Fat Man it did not get very much marketing. It didn't get a whole lot of publicity circulation or anything like that. But I think that, yes, you will be very happy their K-Star Rock channel there. So check that out because it'll make you kind of harken back to Lethal Weapon, because you'll look at Mel Gibson. He's obviously noticeably, older and whatnot, but he goes from Lethal Weapon in 1987, where there's Christmas imagery all over the place. For God's sakes, the opening titles are there with Jingle Bell Rock playing behind the opening titles of Lethal Weapon. Right? There's Christmas trees and Gary Busey shooting a TV saying it's goddamn Christmas. All these Christmas references to Lethal Weapon. But the debate still rages on. Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? That kind of thing. Just is Die Hard a Christmas? That's what I forgot to talk about to Siaka about, because before we started the show, I was talking to Siaka, and he was saying, hey, we need to talk about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? We completely ran out of time. As you heard, we went into a bunch of different digressions and directions that we did not intend to go down and whatnot. But hey, when the conversation is popping, just popping all over the place, you just go where the conversation takes you. But hey, I guess that's for his next appearance on here. Next time I have Siaka here on the show there. But yeah, so Fat Man it kind of made me remember when in Mel Gibson's earlier days in 1987, when he was Martin Riggs and Lethal Weapon and all the Christmas imagery and all that stuff right there. But now he's in a movie called Fat Man, where there is no debate whether it's a Christmas movie. Mel Gibson, he plays Santa Claus, for God's sake. So there's no debate whatsoever as far as whether Fat Man is a Christmas movie. But check it out. So Fat Man is so good. I bought it on hard copy. Get a hard copy. Don't get digital copy. Get a hard copy. So I got a hard copy of Fat Man, and it's part of my Christmas movie circulation, my playlist every December. So I do Fat Man and Violent Night and Elf and Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and The Long Kiss Goodnight. That's another one. So yeah. K-Star Rock channel. The Long Kiss Goodnight. That might be a movie that you haven't heard of as well, but I would definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. The Long Kiss Goodnight. Ignore the title. I know it sounds like some Hallmark romantic movie. All right, it's Gina Davis, and she plays this badass assassin in it. Okay, and it's written by the same guy who wrote Lethal Weapon. Okay, so it's this action adventure movie with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson with all kinds of Christmas imagery all over it. So that's part of my Christmas playlist as well. So, but Fat Man, the point is Fat Man's part of that playlist now there. So, all right, let me guys let you know, or let me let you guys know what the movie for next week will be. Okay, so I will be reviewing The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Okay, so we're getting our first Lord of the Rings in the theaters here. I totally ignore Rings of Power on Prime because that's not in the theaters, and plus it sucks. But we'll see how bad the Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim sucks, or maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But I will be going and reviewing that. The spoiler-free review for that will be this Sunday afternoon as part of my Movies Merica live show, and that'll be coming on at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. This Sunday afternoon, my spoiler-free review of The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. And then, of course, a week from tonight, the Movies Merica spoiler warning will be all about The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, where I will be talking about it, spoilers and all, just kind of like how Siaka and I were talking about, I almost said Violent Night, Fatman, and we didn't care about spoilers whatsoever, because that's what this show is for. That's what this episode is for. Movies Merica spoiler warning. Spoiler warnings even in the title of the show, so we get spoilery about all movies and that kind of thing. Right there, gotta love that. And yeah, there we go. Yes, she has heard of that. Heard of The Long Kiss Goodnight right there. So, and love action movies. So do I. And there you go. In confirmation that you are a genius, Die Hard is a Christmas movie for sure. Exactly. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, you just called it a Christmas movie because it has like a Santa hat and it's got like Christmas music in it." No. They make reference to Christmas, like the characters speak of Christmas on numerous occasions in the movie. And no, I don't care if Bruce Willis said that it's not a Christmas movie. All right. Just because you starred it doesn't mean you own the movie, Bruce Willis. Okay. All right. I should be nice to Bruce Willis. He's going through a tough time right now. So, but there we go. But hey, sorry to see that you got to run right there. Hey, appreciate you stopping by for at least a little bit right there. And check out Fatman there. And hope to see you back for other episodes as well. But we are getting ready to take off here right now. We're getting ready to wrap up this episode as well, but not before I let you guys know about some great places that you need to save as bookmarks in your preferred web browser, okay? And the first one is solo.to/moviesmerica. And what that is that's the website that has all the links to all things Movies Merica, like my Movies Merica X page, Facebook page, critic lists, Gab, YouTube, Rumble. All the links to all those pages are on solo.to/moviesmerica. It's kind of like a one-stop shop website. So if you don't want to have to hunt and peck all over the World Wide Web for everything Movies Merica, just save solo.to/moviesmerica as a bookmark or favorite right there, and you will not go wrong right there. Yeah, exactly. What I'm talking about. Yeah, even his wife is named Holly. All right. First it's Holly Gennaro, and then she smartens up and changes it back to Holly McLean right there. Yeah, absolutely right there. You speaketh the trutheth. And then the next place that you may want to bookmark, and I say may is because moviesmerica.com, what is there is it's the audio-only version of my spoiler-free review show that I do on Sunday. And so moviesmerica.com's got the audio podcast version of the episodes. Also, the podcast versions of that show are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, basically and everywhere that you would find podcasts, right? So if you go to any of those platforms and just type in Movies Merica, you'll find me. Okay, I'm right there. But why would you want to listen only when you could watch and listen there on YouTube or Rumble or X right there? But moving on. Again, like I just insinuated, I am on X, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Gab, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Rumble. Just, you name the platform, I'm on it. All under the handle @Movies Merica, okay? And then if you go on there and you realize you're not following me yet, follow me there. And then if you direct message me in X and say, "Hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform," then I will follow you. I will follow you on those platforms as well, because you know what? You were a stand-up guy or gal. You did me a solid. You scratched my back. I'm going to scratch your back in the most platonic way possible. Okay, there you go. So, but I can't follow you unless you let me know right there. Okay, and then also let any friends or family that you even remotely, if you even slightly suspect that they might be interested in Movies America, let them send them the link to, my Rumble page, okay, which you will find at solo.to/Movies America, or my X page, and send them a link to that. And then they can let me know that they follow me, and I will follow them as well. Kind of see how that all operates there. I mean, it's all joins together so nicely. All right. And then tdpn.locals.com, again, is our Till Death Podcast Network website, where we have all our great content like videos and blogs and articles all about all kinds of great stuff like, movies and entertainment, for example, there. Okay. And then we have our merch store. Again, we have our merch store link in the description down below. And get yourself a Movies America t-shirt or a Movies America phone case, not just for yourself, you selfish bastard. Give the gift of Movies America this Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Festivus right there. Okay. And then the next place that you should save as a favorite is solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. And what is there? Well, that is your one-stop shop website for all the links that have to do with anything Till Death Podcast Network. So this show and the other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network. Okay. Boy, pardon me. All right, then moving on. We got solo.to/Till Death Studios. And now the reason you would want to go there is, say you are a content creator like myself. I do this show. Maybe you make movies, or maybe you do a podcast, or, do a show somewhere else and that kind of thing. And you want to spruce it up, all right? It's looking a little boring. You look at your own show, you're like, oh, it's so boring. I put myself to sleep with my own show. So you want to give it some flair, all right? You want to make sure people show up because they see all your bells and whistles and fireworks to your show. So, like the intro, I had the movies military moment intro, and the intro to the show and all that stuff. You got the background right here. Cool shit like that spruces up, that gives your show some flair. Well, go to solo.to/Till Death Studios, and my man Ian will hook you up with his skills that pay the bills. But you've got to take the first step right there. And hey, we got Lindy Rig 87. Live you, Van. Well, I live you too there, Lindy Rig 87. All right. I'm feeling the live right here. So yes, live and let die in this show here tonight. There we go. All right, and then we've got solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. And that's where you'd want to go for all the links that have to do with my man Sean, who is also here on the Till Death Podcast Network. He does a show, does like a live X space every Friday afternoon. So just check that out. And so if you want a handy link to his X space where he talks about, the hot button topics of day and funnies, and he has great guests on sometimes and that kind of thing, then go to solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. He's also on that wacky and wild show that I'll be talking about next, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. Okay. And that comes on every week right there. So boy, I've got the coughs going on right here. Come on, get yourself together, Van. Let's do this. But solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. Save that as a favorite right there. And then we've got solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. That's where you'd want to go for all the links that have to do with that crazy, wacky, wild, rather disturbed show that you see every Monday and Wednesday night on Rumble. And then they're also on every other Tuesday night. And so to get easy access to their next show and then their past shows, go to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist and save that as a favorite right there. And then last, but certainly not least, we've got solo.to/Till Death Podcast. And that's where you'd want to go for all the links that have to do with the flagship show, the show that started it all here on the Till Death Podcast Network, the Till Death Podcast. And that is my man Ian and his lovely bride Jen, bringing that show to you, going over to politics and funnies and celebrity gossip and the hot button sizzling topics of the day that everybody is talking about. But they talk about it marinated in their marital mirth. Okay, they bust each other's balls like a husband and wife does as they go through all those great topics right there. So they crack you up. They crack me up. All right. So check out that show. That comes on every other Saturday afternoon right there. So we are getting ready to wrap this show up here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But again, want to thank Siaka Massaquoi for joining the show here. And check out his website link in the description down below. Again, if you're watching this live, he's going to be on Fox News later on tonight with Trace Gallagher. So check that out there. And also check out through his website link in the description, check out the Give, Send, Go page in there. And hey, if you've got the means, help donate to his legal fund for his January 6th fight that he's got on his hands right there. Hopefully he won't have to deal with that for too much longer once Trump is inaugurated right there. And then also he's going to be at Am Fest in Phoenix, not this weekend, but a week from, I guess a week from today is when it starts. Am Fest, that's a Turning Point Action there with Charlie Kirk. They're the ones who put on Am Fest. And so, yeah, Siaka is going to be there hanging out with Charlie Kirk and the gang there. So check that out. Maybe you can make your way out to Phoenix there. And if you make your way out there, go check out Camelback Mountain as well. So there you go. All right. But on that digression, let's wrap up this episode here. But as always, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Oh, yeah. Don't leave quite yet. No. Hey, the night is still so young and you didn't get that babysitter for nothing. Come on. It's like something o'clock. Okay, right now. Okay, so stay here and like this video if you would. Subscribe to the channel. That'd be fantastic. Hey, and while I'm in the asking mood over here, because I'm just partying up here, and so should you, watch these videos over here if you would. Oh, yeah. All the cool kids are doing it, and then like them if you would. Absolutely, okay? Hey, and with that, thanks for watching this video and Movies Merica Until Death Podcast Network. All right, let's party it up.